Flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please. Here. Here.
Here. Here.
Here.
Present.
Thank you, Jane. Also with us, our municipal clerk, Jane McCarthy, and our borough attorney, Tracy Schnurr. This is an official meeting of the governing body of the Borough of Bloomingdale on December 12, 2014. The date, time, and place of this official meeting was faxed and mailed to all local news media and posted here at Borough Hall. Our first order of business is a presentation to our graduating 8th graders who participate in the Kids Who Care program. With that said, I'd ask the council to join me off the dais. If you would, please.
You can do that too.
I hope I don't get it.
Well, we want to get a nice picture.
People do that, yeah.
Oh, maybe she is. Yeah.
If you can stand here and give those out when they get there.
There you go.
If you guys can divide these amongst yourselves equally there. All right. Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome and thanks for being here tonight. As I said, first order of business is to, Mike's going to do the trophies from this whole invited by four. So again, the reason we asked you to come tonight is to present you with a certificate to thank you. To thank you for all you do for Bloomingdale. To thank you for volunteering and committing to help our community activities be a success. And it's a special group. You are a special group to step up and do something like that. And yeah, Julian, come on in. Let's see the front. So again, the mayor, as mayor, and the council, we're here to simply thank you for doing that and congratulate you all on your 8th grade graduation and wish you great success in high school. And again, I just can't tell you how proud we are of each and every one of you. We're going to present to you tonight a certificate, present you with the borough pin and a trophy, which is on behalf of the Municipal Alliance Drug Awareness Program because of your assistance in those programs all year long. The certificate you will receive states the following. It's a certificate of appreciation for the completion of 18 hours or more of community service for the Bloomingdale Recreation Kids Who Care program, dated from September 2014 through May of 2015, presented to you this 9th day of June 2015 by the governing body and myself, John Levy, as your mayor. And again, I'd like to thank Gail, Miss Gail, or Gail Galbraith, for this was your idea many, many years ago. And it's been a great success. So a round of applause for Gail. It's absolutely a great idea, and then we're going to keep it going. And I need you guys to keep the community pride that's been instilled, to keep it going. When you're in high school, I still want to see a cleanup day and events like that, because you're a big part of our community. It wouldn't be the same without you. So I'll begin with Councilman Costa. He's going to call you up, you'll get your certificate, I'll give you a pin, and then you'll come and then hang by Miss Gail, and we'll go from there. So, Councilman?
James Goldman.
He's absent. Just you put it on the table, I'll take care of it. I know. There's a couple slips.
Maria Ligori.
Congratulations, Maria. Come around this way. Thank you. Go to Councilman Santos.
Caitlin Kaufman. Congratulations. Stay right here for a photo. We'll have a picture at the end.
You might want to do this. There you go.
Sean Donnelly.
I made it for that.
I don't want to talk to you.
Congratulations.
Talks to him now.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Sean.
Thank you. Councilman Nevada, Tyler Swarm. Julian Spatuzio. Mike Gutierrez. How are you?
Catherine Anthony. Jessica Hornick. And Derek McNara.
Sean Rankin. Did we get everybody? I want to make sure.
No.
All right. So before we line up for a picture, Gail wants to take a picture. Again, guys, good luck in high school. And again, we are extremely proud of all you do. Keep it up. Keep the grades up, okay? Keep the community service up, and you'll be a great success, as I know you will. We got a big round of applause for 2016.
Taller in the back, shorter in the front, let's
Come up
go.
this way. You come this way.
I've always been in the front, so you guys
We'll get a phone book for
stand
Miss
nice.
Gail.
Phone book for me?
To stand up.
I've always needed one, yes, thank you.
Council want to get in, or, yeah?
Yes, council,
If they want us.
nice opportunity,
We can
guys.
squeeze.
Get a picture.
I'll send that to Sean. Okay, before you guys go, I'd like to thank all the parents. Thank you for raising these great bunch of kids. Again, your hard work, you can tell, is paid off, and keep it up, and we thank you. So kids, let's have a big round of applause for the parents.
One thing I want to add to that is that you have to remember, this whole year, any communication or any organization, they're the ones that were contacted. You'll notice I really pretty much steered away from the parents because this is about them moving up into the world and taking their place in the community, and I'm very, very proud of them. Nice bunch of kids.
Thanks again, guys, very much. We'll take a 3-minute recess while everyone can clear out or stay for a wonderful meeting. Thank you, everyone. We shall resume at 7:14. There are a few non-agenda items that I will make mention of in case the public wishes to speak to those items. They are all related to tax appeals. There are 3 recommended from our tax assessor, our tax specialist, and our attorney that we will be settling by resolution this evening. The first is Pizzalis Realty Management. Second is Brian Spellman, and the third is also Brian Spellman. The details of those, just bear with me. Pizzalis, which is the location of, where our rec center lies. This stems back from a 2012 appeal. The total reduction in value, as you'll see in your proposals, monetarily, tax year 2013 is $14,000 and 2015 is $29,000. And then we have Spellman on 2nd Street, which is a $789 reduction, and a proposed settlement on a residential on 103 Natalie Court for $600.60. And we also have Mountaintop Development. So there's a fourth with a reduction for 2014 of 11,715. And again, these go through the whole court process with our specialists, and these are the final recommendations. So those are, again, there's 4 non-agenda items. We'll move by its own resolution. And anyone has questions, you could speak during early public comment on those. With that said, I need a motion to open early public comment, which is reserved for agenda items. And who makes that motion, please?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wishing to speak to an agenda item, please come on up, state your name and address for the record.
My name is Matt Saccone, 77 Charles Street. I just wanted to ask you about the suburban trends, the taxes that are going to be increasing from $52.83 for the average home of $275. So what is the increase for somebody who has, say, a 300? How is that going to work?
Okay, well, first, I'll address your question, but one, it's not an agenda item, but we'll talk to it.
Okay.
2, when the budget is adopted at the next meeting, there'll be a public hearing, and that's when you have discussions primarily on the budget. But to not make this the budget hearing, just to simply respond to your question, the $53 rate at the $274,000 home, all right, so you just prorate that. So if the house is worth double value, say the house is worth $548,000, then it would be $106 or whatever, $104 tax increase, correct?
We're having so many appeals because people can't afford to live here anymore. I can't afford to live here. You're increasing the taxes, and what's happening is I'm about to foreclose on my house, and you ran last year under the auspice that you didn't increase. We're taxed a lot here. I have my flood insurance. I know this isn't an agenda issue.
No, it's not an agenda item, but I'll address it, but I don't want, because next meeting, there's the entire public presentation of the budget, and that's when this discussion should occur. And I'll address, there's so much I can address to your points. You know, it was a 1.9% tax increase. I'll show you every expense that went up and what we cut to keep expenses. The budget went up $115,000. Expenses were up over $300,000. Again, revenue's down. People have been appealing taxes every year for
Because they can't
eternity.
afford
Well, in every town, every year, the ones we've been seeing over the last 3 years are from the revaluation, no question about it. And that's a fact. So yeah, I mean, anyone has the right to appeal their taxes.
I will not go on any further. I'll wait until the next meeting.
No, that is the
This
appropriate
an
time to do that.
agenda, So we'll take care of this at the
That would be
next
good. Thank you, Matt, very much. Anyone else wishing to speak to an agenda item? Seeing no one, motion to close.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any reports from our professionals, department heads, council? First, I'll go with Jane. Anything for us, Jane? And Tracy, how about yourself?
Nothing, Mayor.
Thank you. Council members, anything?
I know the Board of Education passed their side of the interlocal agreement. Are we all, is that all set now?
We've done ours, yeah.
Yep.
So we're all set
Okay.
for the paving, yeah. Just
After we had to come back with the sewer sale for a four-party thing, I just want to make sure.
No, we're fine. We just, when school is out and we do our summer paving, it'll all be part of that. Any other council member have anything? The only thing I have is just a couple updates. As you know, the construction office moved into the Union Ave building, and that building was on well. So we tested the well water, as we should, as anyone who has a well, private well, should test their well water. And there was, some bacteria readings that shouldn't exist. So our staff, our public, our sewer and water department considered it an emergency and installed water. The water was right there on Hamburg Turnpike, Union Avenue, and we were able to do it without cutting into the county road. So I just emailed the council and informed the committee that this was occurring because they just finished today. So now that building, as it should be, will be on public water as well. So that was kind of a quick thing that just came up over the weekend when the test results came in, but we're all in a good place now because we'll be on the public system. That's really all I have. When school's out, excuse me?
They started Fitcher too.
Victor Sewer has started. We declared that an emergency. The delay was the county in giving us the road opening permit, but that project has begun, and that's replacing the sewer line a couple hundred feet from Hamburg to the first manhole, I believe. So that's begun. The paving was completed on the 5 infrastructure loan program roads in the flats and on First Street. We're in the process of putting together all our projects for the summer, which again include the road paving,
Walter T. Bergen track, Star Lake Road, replacement of water line, or after the test holes are dug to see if we're doing the full water line replacement. So a lot's going to be kicking up in the next month or so. A lot driven by, we wait till school is out before we do a lot of those infrastructure improvements. So everything's moving along. Anyone else have anything? Okay, thank you. I need a motion for item 10 to adopt the consent agenda, which is minutes from our May 19th, 2015 meeting. Who makes that motion?
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Pending items. The first is a second and final reading on Ordinance 13, 2015, a bond ordinance for various capital improvements in the amount of $780,000. Public notice statement, please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this ordinance is posted in the building, publishing it, telling you, copy available for public, the motion that we made that if you read by title.
And who makes that motion, please?
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That would be a bond ordinance providing for various capital improvements by the borough of Bloomingdale appropriating the aggregate amount of $780,000, including a grant in the amount of $200,000 expected to be received from the
State of New Jersey Department of Transportation and authorizing the issuance of $550,000, 500 bonds or notes of the borough to finance part of the cost thereof.
I need a motion to open public hearing, please.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wishing to speak to Ordinance 13, 2015, please come up, state your name and address for the record.
Linda Huntley, is this working?
Yes.
86 Van Dam. For the bond ordinance, you have 32,500 plus 484,984 for the streets that you're going to be repaving.
Correct.
That sounds like an awful lot for the repaving.
Not for all the roads we anticipate doing. That's based on engineer estimates. And as you know, the second bond ordinance we're doing is a reallocation of existing,
That you over bonded for.
well, again, it's that was primarily from Rafkin Road that we're canceling to appropriate for additional paving. So that wasn't enough to do what was on the 10-year plan, and this is a projection. Hopefully, with the co-op numbers, they come in less, but you need to have enough.
But are we going to be over bonding again?
Again, until the paving's done and all the tonnage comes in, I don't know that answer. And if you do, the council would have a choice to cancel it or reallocate it to a capital project if they chose. So we will not know until August when the final tonnage is billed out on the paving. Again, it's based on engineer, the tonnage, quantities, the size of the roads, but the unknowns that you run into all the time with storm drain repairs, manhole repairs, et cetera. So we want to make sure we have enough funding in place to do what the plan is. Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak to 13, 2015? Seeing no one, motion to close public comment.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion to adopt. Who moves, please?
So moved.
Any discussion? Again, just for the public, we are authorizing $550,000 in debt. This is $40,000 for fire department turnout gear, $232,000 for road paving, $95,000 for 2 vehicles, 1 DPW pickup truck replacement and a animal control officer replacement, replacing vehicles 10 years and older that are just beyond their useful life. A sprinkler system for the senior center and their botanical gardens, and electronic signboard for information, hopefully 2, 1 in this vicinity and 1 on Union Ave. We haven't decided locations, in the amount of $31,000. A new file server for the Borough Hall, because the one we have is over 20 years old. And $133 for the paving of Reeve Avenue. We received a $200,000 grant. The estimates are $340, so we are bonding $133, and we received $200 from the DOT to repave Reeve Avenue. That is from Knowles to Hamburg Turnpike. Again, that is what this bond, if anyone was wondering, consists of. Any further discussion?
That was Knowles to Oak.
I'm sorry, Knowles to Oak, yes, correct. Actually, the grant is Knowles to Hamburg. We're only doing Knowles to Oak because we have a community development block grant for the water line for Ryerson from Oak to Hamburg, so it'll be staged, so. But what'll be paved this year is to Oak.
Right.
Correct, thank you. Anyone else? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmembers Costa.
Yes.
Tomato.
Yes.
Delariva.
Yes.
Hudson.
Yes.
Sondemire.
Yes.
Next item is second and final reading of bond ordinance 14, 2015, reappropriating $484,984, proceeds of obligations. Public notice statement, please.
Mr. Mayor, this ordinance was posted in the municipal building, published in the Herald News. Copies available to the public, so that motion may be made that it be read by title.
And who makes that motion, please?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
And that would be an ordinance reappropriating $484,984 proceeds of obligations not needed for their original purposes in order to provide for other purposes in and by the Borough of Bloomingdale.
I need a motion to open public hearing for 14/2015.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wishing to speak to 14/2015, please come on up. Seeing no one, motion to close.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And motion to adopt 14/2015.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Again, just for the public record, this is a reallocation of existing debt, primarily from the Rafkin Road project. And this is 100% for road paving, naming the streets of Chestnut, Catherine, Hillside Drive, Forest Drive, Hemlock, Crane, Capitoline, the Bogue Drive, and Sandra Lane intersection, Matthews Terrace, Boston Street, and High Street, and the Borough Hall parking lot, just a portion thereof. So that is what this is going to do this summer in our capital improvement plan. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmembers D'Amato.
Yes.
Delariva.
Yes.
Hudson.
Yes.
Sondemire.
Yes.
Costa.
Yes.
Okay, new business. First item is a motion to adopt Resolution 15-6.1, authorizing the public health shared service agreement with the City of Patterson for our tuberculosis control services. This is an annual contract, $1,200 a year, which is what we do each year. So who makes that motion, please?
So moved. Second.
All in, roll call, please.
Councilmembers Delariva.
Yes.
Hudson.
Yes.
Sondemire.
Yes.
Costa.
Yes.
D'Amato.
Yes.
Item B, we need adoption by motion resolution 2015-6.2, change order for DeLazier Field bleachers in the increased amount of $3,800. Who makes that motion?
Second.
Any discussion? Just so everyone's aware, the contract bid price was $102,948, which we have a grant to do. This is a $3,800 change order, which will be paid for out of the Rose Fund. This is because there was a 33-foot section on the upper right-hand portion of the grandstands that is going to be removed. It's just too damaged, too costly to replace. It's a 2-foot-high knee wall on top that literally is in bad shape. So that'll be coming out, and we'll put a decorative fence in its place for safety purposes. It'll still keep its character entirely. It's just one change order that was realized after the work had begun. And if you haven't been down there, go take a look. It's coming along beautifully. Any further discussion?
So they're not rebuilding the wall then, you're saying they're putting chain
And
up?
that's just removing the wall. Okay. Roll call, please.
Councilmembers Hudson.
Yes.
Sondemire.
Yes.
Costa.
Yes.
D'Amato.
Yes.
Delariva.
Yes.
Thank you. Next item, I need a motion for Resolution 2015-6.3. This is emergency resolution, temporary appropriations, amending the introduced budget simply by the receipt of the Clean Communities grant in the amount of $15,093.70. This is the grant that I do with Cleanup Day and school programs, et cetera, and this is just implementing it into the budget because we received the notification. Who makes that motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Sondemire.
Yes.
Costa.
Yes.
D'Amato.
Yes.
Delariva.
Yes.
Hudson.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Item D is just for information. As we stated a moment ago, we are paving Revav, but this year we applied for the replacement of the water line, laterals, curbs, and sidewalks on the lower portion of Reeve from Oak to Hamburg. We are being awarded $100,000 towards that project, and I apologize, I don't have the estimates in front of me. I believe our original estimates were closer to $300,000 to do the work. Don't quote me on that, but we know we're going to be awarded $100,000. So that would be a 2016 project, and the governing body will have to decide how we want to proceed at a later date. Okay, thank you. We had non-agenda items. Okay, I'm going to ask for a motion to adopt 4 resolutions. Resolution 2015 6.4, 0.5, 0.6, and 0.7. Respectively, it's attached to Pizzalis Real Estate Management, Brian Spellman on Natalie Court, Brian Spellman on 2nd Street, and, as I stated earlier, Mountaintop Development Association would be 0.7, as are in your book, and as I stated on the record earlier. So who makes that motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? And again, just for the record, this comes with, through the courts, through the tax courts, and a recommendation from our professionals to settle on these matters. Roll call, please.
Councilmembers Costa.
Yes.
D'Amato.
Yes.
Del Ripa.
Yes.
Hudson.
Yes.
Sondemire.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Now I need a motion for late public comment.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wishing to speak, please come on up, state your name and address for the record.
Daniel Hawkins, 6 Pearl Street, Bloomingdale.
How are you?
Very good, sir. I'd have a question, if it's not too late, with regard to the purchase and installation of the sprinkler system for the senior center. Is this a fire protection system?
No. It's for the master gardeners have spent a few years and hundreds of hours installing beautiful botanical gardens by the senior center. This is a lawn sprinkler system for the gardens at a cost of $3,100.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else, please?
Linda Shortman, 2 West Shore Road. I just came because the last meeting I was at, we had a discussion about several items, and I just wanted to follow up on them. I asked about the improvements to Main Street, and you offered me a position on the Economic Development Board, which unfortunately I have to decline. But I still am interested in what their input has been for the improvement of our business district.
Well, actually, they've only had 3 meetings, and our last one was met with Deborah Hoffman from the Passaic County Economic Development Authority, and they're just kind of bouncing ideas off. They're looking at starting with a door to door to the businesses, surveys. They're developing now surveys to the residents, surveys to the businesses as far as what residents want to see, what businesses want to see. So those are being developed. They are looking at some street fair ideas, where people can show their wares, whether they're on Main Street or not. So just a lot of different things are just being discussed. The meetings are the 3rd Wednesday of the month, although you may not commit to a seat. Anyone can attend. They're public meetings, and it's a
Minutes of those meetings?
we've had 3, and yes, there's minutes. John Graziano's been doing that for us.
They're not online though, are they?
No, I don't think those have been online. I have them. I can email them to you. But it's just a start, and they have some great ideas, and they're very aggressive group of individuals committed to this. So I think we'll see some nice things come out of this commission.
Is there ever any discussion about the bid district?
To do a business improvement district, where you actually tax the business owners to raise a pot of money that they could borrow against to do improvements? Not yet. I mean, that's out there. That's what Pompton Lake's success has been.
Pompton Lakes looks better and better, and I know businesses that I frequent there have benefited from improving their businesses through bid.
Absolutely.
I don't know the details, the downside. I'm sure.
Well, I spoke to the mayor over the last few years about it, where when it first came out, nobody was happy with it because it's more taxes to the business owners specifically, and not just those on Main Street, anyone in town. But then as it became an active tool being used, the business owners see the benefits. And so I think most are in favor of it now. I don't know how much a business owner pays, but I do know it creates a pot of money that the business owners can then go get low interest loans to do facade improvements. And on Wanacue Ave in Pompton Lakes, those improvements are a direct result of their business improvement district. The difference, though, and again, it hasn't been discussed as, you'd have to go to the business owners, have conversations. One of the biggest differences, though, there and here is they have a very, very active Chamber of Commerce. All their Main Street activities, all their Main Street flowers and beautifications, their holiday stroll is all done by the Chamber of Commerce, which is just a great, we have a Chamber of Commerce, but they're tri-borough, so it's not just specific to Bloomingdale. I know Jane, participates, and she's going tomorrow, and, there is one. I don't want to, say anything negative. There's, Pompton has a very active one that I think helps a lot of these things transition to their success. So again, it's the early stages of our economic development, and all these things are being discussed.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yep.
The other thing that was discussed at the last meeting was the fact that the businesses at the end of First Street that are using the town property.
Correct.
And you had said that we were offering, commercial people places to store their vehicles.
Correct.
And having been in that position, I do know people who have businesses and no place by ordinance to park near their home. I think that's something you should advertise and offer more people, if it's available, a place to put their trucks.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of room to do it. What has been gone on over the years, and you're well aware of it, is that the borough owns, a decent piece of property, but most of it's the senior center parking lot, and most of it's just wooded. But there has been an area that has over time become a place where, maybe 10 vehicles tops could be parked in that vicinity. So the goal is for the borough is to sell those parcels to the adjacent owners, not to get in the business of renting parking spots. But as we discussed, what came about as we were doing title searches to do this sale is governing bodies years ago ended up putting all that land into what's called our Recreation and Open Space Inventory, our ROSI. And I just don't think it should be there. It's in our industrial zone. I do think the wooded area by the gardens should be in our ROSI. I do think our senior center parking lot should be in our ROSI, but not the adjacent parcels, which are less than a half an acre, not even to industrial businesses. So we have, for the last 2 years, been in front of Green Acres trying to amend our ROSI, because if we can get these pieces out, then we can sell them.
I remember all this, and I shouldn't be surprised that it takes so long, but it does. We're pursuing it.
As you said, you shouldn't be surprised, and I know you're not, that
And
it takes so long.
Sloan Park also, DEP, big problems. I know you submitted something revised.
Revised. Yeah, we are, we're 4 years November, funding in place. Last meeting I said we're 45 days away, and that was 15 days ago, so I'm confident we're 30 days away from a permit, but I've said that for the last 3 years.
Well,
numerous times.
I want to thank you for recognizing the work at the senior center, which is just gorgeous, and for the sprinklers. It will be great for them.
Yeah, it's
Thank
going to
you.
make a big difference. Thank you. And it is beautiful there. Anyone else, please?
Huntley 86 Van Dam. I wanted to discuss the articles that were in the paper last week and this week as far as the quarry, and where the quarry neighbors deserve a clean community, and where the quarry does accept truckloads of used asphalt, and what is going to be done to prevent that. I mean, that's part of their business. I don't know what you're going to do about that, but I mean, how are we going to make sure that Federal Hill doesn't get contaminated?
Again, I don't have the data to speak to it. I mean, I saw the article. Can I just take a glance at it there? I mean, is asphalt currently being dumped at the current Bloomingdale quarry?
It is accepted. Tilcon accepts it.
So the concern, whether the Tilcon expansion moves forward or not, your concern is either way, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't know. It's something that, our zoning officer, our Board of Health, whichever can take and can explore.
Well, I
But
think
again,
it should
they
be
do
addressed
go
in the
through 5-year licensing renewals and inspections, so.
Well, maybe that should be addressed in their license renewal?
Again, that's something I think you could make mention of in front of the planning. The planning board actually had met on their license renewal, and I believe on the 18th we'll be looking to approve or move forward on it.
I thought they had already approved that.
I think, but they're going to do a formal resolution on the 18th, so it's a good time to have that discussion. Because it's the planning board who makes the recommendation to the governing body.
I understand that, but the governing body is the one that's going to make the decision as to whether it's going to be accepted or not.
Based on the recommendations from the planning board, correct.
So in other words, you're saying whatever the planning board says is what you're going to do?
Whatever the planning board with their advice from their professional says, that's, again, if it's in line, that's normally what the governing body would move on.
No, it's
Sure.
not. I mean, that's.
Unless a member disagrees, absolutely.
I would expect the governing body to make the decisions based upon what's been presented and whether they agree or
Correct.
don't agree with what the planning board
Correct.
is saying. Because the planning board has been appointed by the mayor, and the mayor is the one who wants this, so
Okay.
kind of a,
Right, most planning board members have been there before my time, but go on.
a lot of the planning board members are affiliated with,
Most of the planning board members have been there before my time, so.
they've been affiliated with John Dunleavy though, so therefore, I mean, you can sit there and laugh and chuckle.
No, I'm smiling
But
because
it
it's
is-
just,
it is
it's
a
never
fact.
ending with you.
Well, I also would like to ask the mayor, John Dunleavy, and his fellow council members for more information on Chilcott's proposed license renewal and expansion. Are you gonna go along with the expansion only if they give you the property, or what if they don't?
On
give you the
June
property?
18th, the planning board will be reviewing the master plan and deciding if there's a recommendation for an amendment. Once the governing body receives that, then we'll continue our deliberations and discussions.
Okay, what is the benefit to the town if they rezone it?
What is the benefit to the town if they rezone?
The property.
The
as
whole
part-
goal of considering a rezoning is to enable affordable housing, because there's a court order to build affordable housing.
So this affordable housing, you're not gonna reduce the number of affordable units as you did with Avalon Bay?
I can't speak to that. I don't know what's in
That was
front
the
of us.
purpose, if that's the purpose of it.
The purpose would be to achieve the construction of affordable housing as we are court ordered to do so.
But we were court ordered to do so also with Avalon Bay,
Sure.
and you reduced the amount of affordable,
We reduced the amount of affordable, picked up credits for rental, and are getting $100,000 in an affordable housing trust fund that our own residents can use and get the same offset co-accounts. And I feel that's better for our residents, our seniors who may not be able to afford a new roof or a boiler to access this pot of money because of the credit we got from Avalon Bay. It's a home run for our residents.
I'm still questioning as far as affordable housing units. We have not met our affordable housing requirements yet. We would have been closer to it had Avalon Bay not reduced the amount of units. And are you going to also reduce the amount of units with whomever?
It's premature. I could not answer that question.
How could it be premature?
Because there's no zoning in place, there's no developer in
There is
place.
zoning in place, if I recall.
There's
There
no
was
d-
an ordinance passed when
there's
I was
no-
on the council, and that ordinance specifically stated that part of that property was supposed to be, have a conservation easement to save that property in perpetuity. Now, that ordinance is being changed based upon the council requesting the planning board to do something.
An ordinance would only be changed if the council introduces such, and to date, that hasn't been done. And if it is to be done, we'll have the discussion. But even at that point, until there's a developer willing to build there, you can't have a discussion on Mount Laurel, more or less, or deductions or
property-
reductions. You can't.
The zoning was already in place for a certain number of units.
True, for
Now you're changing
360
that.
market rate units and sale or for rental, which would be 72 affordable housing units. It's impossible today to sit here with or without the Tilcon concept and discuss whether that 72 is the end game number. It's impossible.
It's zoned that way, isn't it?
Just like Avalon Bay, it was zoned that way, and then the governing body chose to go to the Superior Court for a reduction on Mount Laurel to get the trust fund for the borough residents. So you still have to go to a Superior Court judge if you wanted to reduce the Mount Laurel. So even if I sit here today and says, yeah, I would want to do that, I would want to reduce our Mount Laurel, doesn't matter what I say because a judge would make the decision.
But the council had to have gone to the judge and told the judge they were okay with the reduction.
And do you know what year that was?
No, I don't.
I think you were on the governing body when it was done. Okay, it was 2012? Okay. So, count the bodies.
I am.
Thank you. Anyone else, please? How are you, Jack?
Good, good. Jack Miller, Revav. I had mentioned a couple months ago, last time I was here, I think, I had a gentleman that was calling me about some issues by his property. And I spoke to this gentleman, and there's a joint venture about removing a dam.
No. Bloomingdale Joint Ventures is the owner of the Mere tract. That's the original partners.
that I have.
Yeah. That's the original partners who were in a joint venture with D.R. Horton, probably other developers prior to that, when they got the zoning way back when. They have a permit to remove a defunct dam on Federal Hill, on Mere. It has nothing to do with Tilcon. The timing's impeccable.
Listen.
I just wanna make- I just wanna-
Right now.
Wait.
That doesn't,
You asked me, let me just finish. I just want to set the record clear, because
what does that have to do with it?
because I got 50 phone calls from people who got the same letter thinking it has something to do with Tilcon. So I'm just stating on the record
Okay.
that has nothing to do with Tilcon. Apparently, their permit is expiring, so these notices to residents within so many feet was advising you that they're seeking to extend that permit for the dam removal.
All right, here's my question.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to call Paul twice, emailed him, I got nothing.
Well, then you should let me know that right away.
Which surprises me
Yeah.
because he's been very good at getting back. to me.
Absolutely.
But anyhow,
But let me know that when that happens.
I'm letting you know what happened.
Yep.
I'd like to know, are we going to do something about those concrete, the old trestle that's behind this piece of property? Because it is a definite bottleneck for that little stream that goes back there. When it rains hard, those properties back there flood like crazy.
You talking close to the animal shelter?
I am talking behind that white parse, that building that sits back across that little bridge.
Right, there's a residence behind the bridge.
Yes.
Okay.
If you go, it's between Boston and Hamilton, I guess it is.
Okay, I know exactly
Right?
where you're talking.
It's right back there. There's an old trestle back there. There's two big.
Yeah, there's a concrete wall.
Right.
I mean, the borough hasn't explored doing that. If that, DEP permits would be required. It would be quite extensive, I'm sure. But again, that's not pertaining to that. That letter is pertaining to a dam somewhere on the hill, on the mountain, not along those house lines on Van Dam.
So this has nothing to do with that trestle. that's
Correct.
behind it.
Absolutely nothing to do with it.
I think that dam's in the old pond, it's empty.
Yeah, it's a
I
dry.
would- I would think that's what it is. Block,
Correct.
whatever it is. It
Right.
sounds like to me it's up on top.
It is on the up top of the
No,
hill.
John, I don't think it is.
It is. It's an old
A
dead
little
dried pond. Right.
Yeah.
By the what? Yeah.
I believe it's all the way on the top.
It is.
What we're talking about here.
Correct.
From one lake to the
I
other.
was actually fighting with, when I first got that letter about a year ago. I had sent a letter to the dam control and I was complaining about it.
I remember that. I do.
And I was the only one who sent the letter in. And anyway, I was dealing with the guy with the dams and he showed me pictures of it and it is up on top of the hill.
Yeah,
It's
it's
an
on top of the
old
hill.
dam That's got a big gap in it, that there's no.
Okay.
And what you're referring to, I've seen it. There's Mr. Farr's house is right there,
Correct.
right behind it, and I was there with a few DPW guys. I don't know. I mean, I have the engineer look at it, but I always get the answer that's not what's causing the flooding in the flats. It's just it's just. Well, if you come up, state your name and address, and I'd be glad to tell you.
I understand what you're saying, but when you see it and it rains hard.
Oh, sure.
And it's
Right.
like trying to go through here. So I mean, it's something.
It contributes.
No,
Correct.
absolutely. It all,
Something
everything
that we need to
contributes.
look at.
And it's something, I'm not even sure who owns the property, if it's owned by the homes along those lines or owned by the Mere, I have no idea. It has not been looked at thoroughly, from an engineering standpoint. You do know the cost would be intense to do so because it's feeding the Pequannock River. I mean, you could just imagine the
Understood.
process and the time. But the woman in the back said, what is causing the flooding? There's so many reasons, but the biggest reason is every bit of stormwater from as far up in town as Martha B. Day ends up in the flats. All the storm drains come down Reeve Ave. Everything interconnects, comes to Reeve Ave, makes a left-hand turn on Oak, and is dumped right into the Leisure, what's the name of the brook? Bailey Brook, and just goes behind the homes on Chestnut, and it kind of disperses in a wetland area, and then reverts back around. Right by Catsock, Mr. Catsock's home, where we just did the new sidewalk that was flooded out, then behind the homes down the road. It's too much volume coming into that small drainage basin. That's the primary source. Now, again, it's the primary source of water that comes there is just, it's too much water for the basin. the town in the last 2 years did de-snag. We can't de-silt, can't make it deeper. DEP won't let you. We de-snagged. Downstream has de-snagged. As much as it's flooded forever and still has, a few months ago, and John, or maybe Dawn, because your husband's OEM, there was a storm we had where the county thought we would be underwater because the mark of the amount of rain and the gauges on the river were such that prior storms, we would have been in like flood Sloan Park through the car wash stages. And we were nowhere near it because a lot of what's been done, not so much just here, but downstream, where they've alleviated a lot of the backup and stuff. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's better, but indications had shown from the gauges that it is better. The answer, I'd love to redirect that water. It's something we're going to look at now that we have funding to repave Reeve, to see if the DEP will let us bring it straight down past Lucy and Ethel's into the park, into the stream there. I think will alleviate it. But no matter what you do, if the volume is such that the river is just not flowing at the pace, you're always going to have the backup. Please, you can't. I need you to come here and do that. I'm more than willing to talk to you, but I just can't have the shout.
Just to prove, well, just on a point of what you're saying, when they did the culvert, or that, whatever that thing was behind the house on Chestnut.
You're right, we had a sinkhole.
Correct.
Right.
When you repaired that sinkhole.
That was before me, but, yeah.
That has definitely alleviated some of the flow. But as you said, and I saw the maps from you, anything up here, way up, comes there. So when you, just a thought, I know the basins past my house on Reeve don't go out, they come back.
Right, they come towards Oak Street.
We should really think about going, when they do, the repairs there, send it the other way.
Agree, and again, as you know, it's something we're going to explore now because there's no way you could do it unless the DEP gives you the blessing. Because you're still running water, redirecting water.
How long have we been doing this, 5 years?
Oh my goodness.
5.
How long's Bloomingdale been doing it? 100 years, you know?
How long
Yeah,
have we
well, it'll be 4 years November that we've had the funding in place for the flood project in Sloan Park. 4 years in November.
All right, so I'm going to go back and let this gentleman know this has nothing to do with that piece behind it.
Absolutely nothing.
Can you have Paul give me a call,
Absolutely,
please?
yeah.
Jack,
Yes.
if you would like to see that regarding
Where
that.
this is?
Yes.
I know where this is. I have a feeling, I just wanted to check because I was looking for the lot and the blocks, and I couldn't really see it. I didn't know if the whole mirror track was lot and block, whatever. You know what I mean? I wasn't sure, that's why I wanted to come
Yeah,
here.
I mean, I'm going to ask Linda, is Mir one lot and block? Right, it should be. It's not.
It is.
It is one lot and block. It's not a subdivision, right?
Yeah, because it's saying lot
never-
14, block 105, and I'm looking for that. And I'm saying, is that the whole mirror track? And it must be. So that's why I asked, is this the trestle?
believe it is.
On the bottom, or is this the dam up on the top?
Yeah, no, it's definitely up top.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak? I do. Sure, Jackie, come on up.
How are you, Mr. Dudley?
I'm well, how are you?
I'm good. Y'all have a question back here. Then
Oh, come on, we don't
Hi,
bite.
I'm Jackie Ryan Smith, and I live on Van Dam Avenue.
What number? I'm sorry, just for.
40.
40.
Probably, we were just saying, probably a little over 10 years, maybe 15 years ago, Bailey Brook was dredged and cleaned out. Bunch of men came in, started at one end, and pretty much hand dug it and cleaned it all out and piled it up on each side of the brook. That was the first and last time it's ever been done.
Must have been under the dark at night
In
then.
my backyard, it's stagnant, it sits, it doesn't move,
Yeah.
and people tend to put their lawn clippings
Well,
in it, or
don't get me going on that one,
But
yeah.
I'm not saying
Pulling
that's a
stop
lot,
signs
but
at it.
it really needs to be cleaned. There's not even,
We did de-snag it. We paid $17,000 a couple years ago to get them
What's
coming,
de-snagging?
removing branches, fallen sticks, logs, because that's all the DEP. After Irene, right? Because Sandy wasn't so much water. After Irene, the state kind of loosened their rules a little bit, let you do that. The digging, it would cost us $50,000 in permits to maybe get the okay to do it. Well, but it was either before there was rules or it was undone off the record.
it was actually when Mr. Steenstra was mayor. I
That's
remember.
2006. There's no way they dug in 2006. Yeah.
They did. They did.
Was that after, had to be after a storm when the DEP loosened their rules? Had to have been.
I may still have a document that gave us permission to do it.
Excuse me?
A document that gave us permission to do it.
So the DEP gave permission, but it had to be after as a result of, Andrew or Floyd or one of them. They're not going to give you the permission, unless they did after Irene. And when,
Paperwork upstairs if they wrote.
I can have Jane, we'll look for it tomorrow. I'm going to look, because we just can't, I can't go send DPW there tomorrow to dig it out.
I'm not expecting.
No, I'm just saying, just so you understand the rules. So whenever, there had to be a blessing if it was done on the up and up by the DEP, and that's what we need to explore, because I don't know if such permission they'll grant so easily, unless there's a state of an emergency and they kind of loosen the rules. Now, during those years, what, did we have when was Irene? 2010, right? Okay.
It's been a long time.
Okay, it's before, I wasn't here, so Jane and I will look in the morning, and I'll see you at Stop Shop, and I'll tell you all about it.
Thanks.
I will look into it, I promise you. Because if we can do that without having to spend 30, 40 grand, we're up to 150 grand in permit fees just to do the flood project on Main Street. So just to put it in perspective, it's absurd how much just to hopefully get the okay. So, and that's the numbers we'd be looking at. If I got the permission by permit to that's not counting the labor involved. It would be difficult to do.
4 or 5 guys.
Yeah.
With shovels.
Okay.
Because I watched them do it.
Okay. Because you can't dig within 50 foot of a wetland. You just can't do it without a permit. So we'll have to explore. I mean, I'll tell you, I'm president of Morse Lakes. I literally cut invasive species. I cut weeds along the shoreline, and somebody made a phone call, and I got a notice of violation, had to restore it because I disturbed muck within 50 feet of wetlands. And I took pardon my French, a crappy area and made it beautiful. Didn't matter. Similar rules. Very frustrating. So Jane and I will explore tomorrow.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anyone else, please? And excuse me, Jackie, if you'd like, I was teasing about seeing you at work, but you want to give Jane an email before you go, because once we adjourn, we'll have a 5-minute recess. You can give it to her now, and then I can send you an email, and you can share it with your neighbors. Yeah, give it to her now. And then you can send it, share it with the neighbors. Jackie, give them out to your neighbors. My email's on there, so, okay. Yeah. Jackie, just send me in one too, and I know I have it. Send me an email. Thank you very much. Anyone else, please? Seeing no one, motion to close late public comment?
Moved?
All in, second, I'm sorry.
Second.
Tony, and all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we do have an executive session with 2 matters of negotiation. We'll take a 5-minute recess. Governing body schedule is regular meeting June 23rd. And remember, summer, we go 1 meeting in the summer, July 21st. So again, June 23rd and July 21st. Motion to enter.
We don't anticipate anything afterwards.
There will be no action taken after executive session. If there was, public would have an opportunity, but I assure you there will not be.
So moved? Go into executive session.
Yes, motion to go into exec by Rich, seconded by John. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.